And again, we forgot who was doing the intro.
No one
Really
did.
sucks not having Matt.
It's already started. Yet again.
That's a good point. Yeah, yet again, then for like the next 5, probably 5 episodes, there won't be Matt either.
It's possible.
Because we're on lockdown.
Day 1 on lockdown. Food is running low.
You've gone through it all already.
Yeah. Contact with
We're
the
already
outside
rationing
world is... Are you
like,
actually?
Unironically, because we're like, we don't really know how long we're going to be on lockdown. It's not like super rationing. It's like we're still eating food, but it's like the amount we would normally eat minus like if you'd have 5 like thin chicken strips, we're having 4 or something like that. You get an extra meal out by the end of the whole event.
Okay. I mean, we're still allowed to go and get food.
Yes,
at the moment.
But the problem is that because of the way that everyone has to buy food, from like everyone has to buy about 10 days worth.
Yeah,
that's the recommendation. But not everyone has 10 days worth. So at the moment, a lot of people are buying more food than they normally would, and then there'll be a massive stop at a certain point.
Yeah,
but I don't think we'll actually reach that point before lockdown ends.
Oh, lockdown! It'll continue for a while, I'm sure.
Yeah, they say 3 weeks. I think it's going to be more like 6, 7.
Well, no, they were saying 3 weeks until they like revise it.
Yeah, I know, but
so that's
like,
just
that revision could literally just be it's over.
But
they're saying even if the entire virus is gone in a week, you're still on lockdown for 3 weeks because they're not. That's safety precautions.
The virus is going to be here for months.
Yeah. Oh god, we know someone who's got
it. Do you?
Yeah.
That's. Jeez.
I think my mum's boss has it.
Okay. So I guess they're not coming into work. Hopefully.
Well, no one's going into work, Josh.
People are okay. Some people are going into work.
It can be done from home.
Oh, okay. That's like okay. That's good then.
She's an office worker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That all should be done from home.
It's kind of strange to me because I didn't really feel like anything's different. It's a uni student, right? And like study leave was about to start. And I probably would have gone out a bit more. I would have stayed, but I should mention I'm no longer in Nottingham. I've come home. But I would have stayed in Nottingham. I would have gone to D&D and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, really, my days were going to be spent at home pretending I'm working.
Yeah. That's
and now that they're spent at home also pretending I'm working, but a little bit less pretending and more actual working.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really feel... Well, it feels quite different, but not much has actually changed in, like, my daily routine.
What's crazy, though, is I feel guiltier playing video games now than I did before.
Yeah? Oh, really?
Yeah, because before I would go to lectures and then I would come home and I'm like, this is my time now.
Yeah.
But for where I'm sitting, it's like I've now got to decide how much I work for.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like I'm doing enough, then I get that I had to do some other work on the side, like coursework and a bit of revision-y things. But like generally, most of the time that I had at home was to myself. But everything's shut down now, so it's like, oh, okay, now I get to live and work in the same place, and I kind of hate that.
Yeah, I do struggle with that a bit. I mean, because all of my work generally has to be done at home at my desk that I use for like everything else that I do. Because like the specific software I need, like it's not really available anywhere else for me.
The software I need to do my work was available at the uni computers because it was like a default installed thing.
Yeah.
But now I have to work at this computer because I can't be like, I'm going to go to the library that aren't open or like use the upstairs computer. Not that I actually think it's there anymore, but like, use a computer elsewhere or like use an iPad and separate myself from like the video game stuff because they can't use latex.
Yeah.
Which I have to use to do my report for this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
And you know the even worse part about this? What? So I had a book that I found sometime last week by... It doesn't matter who it's by, actually. It doesn't matter. But it was a thing that I needed for my report on what one of my report is currently about that's in limbo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a great book. This is like the only textbook that has the things I need in it. And it's nearly 100 years old.
Jeez.
As most math textbooks are at this point.
Yeah.
You know, without revision. Because it's such a niche topic.
Yeah.
It's not online.
Where is it?
It's in the library.
Oh, is it on... Is there
at
any...
Nottingham University.
Is there only
There is
one?
a copy. They have one copy, and I have found a version online, but it's an older edition.
Oh.
So it's actually from 1920.
Okay.
Does it 1927.
Does it not have,
I can't exactly
right
go and get it. It probably does. I don't know. I haven't seen the 4th edition. But they don't make new editions of books randomly. Unless it's Harry Potter and they do it to sell.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I doubt they're going to be doing that for a maths textbook.
Yeah, I mean, this book hasn't been published in nearly 100 years. I somewhat doubt there's going to be a revision anytime soon.
Why isn't there an online version then?
The 3rd edition is available, weird. But the 4th edition isn't. And the 4th edition is the reference that I've been given.
That's
and you might
annoying.
think, well, what could the difference be? Because it's about lacunary functions, which is,
sure.
Doesn't matter what they are.
It's pretty general knowledge.
Yeah, everyone knows it.
Yeah.
And they're not super complex, but you look in the index of this 3rd edition book, and it says they're on page 98. I'm like, great, page 98. It mentions them once, says these are called lacunary functions, and then it moves on. It never goes back.
Well, cool. Great explanation textbook.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So I've had to make do.
Yeah.
The best part is though, like the next 3 chapters I need are fantastic. I mean, I got to avoid plagiarism because this is the only source I have.
How do you avoid plagiarism? Like, this is... Like, isn't the work that you're doing more based on, factual...
You can't just take someone's thing and then say, I did this. This is mine. You have to cite them. But if all of my citations just look at this textbook, that's not super useful as, a report.
Yeah. It's just a list
I took
of things
5 chapters from the textbook. Read those.
Yeah.
There was another source I found actually that was way more helpful. That was written in 1923, I believe. These are the most recent sources. If you look on Wikipedia, which you would imagine has updated sources as well, it doesn't. Genuinely, nowhere has anything that's it's all about 100 years old.
But why?
Because it's a really old field of study.
Okay.
But is useful for many things.
It seems weird that there's... I guess that you'd be doing work on it now when there's been so much time when no one's been really working on it.
Well, no, people are working on it constantly.
Oh, okay.
Just these specific, entry-level points.
Oh, okay. So, all of the basic, I guess not basic, but the start of it is, done and sorted and no one really needs to revisit it?
Kinda. The problem is when you're trying to understand it, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're trying to understand something, you want it in the clearest, most concise way possible, potentially contextualized by teaching that you've recently learned and is up to date for a modern syllabus.
Yeah.
But the problem is, these books were written before computers existed.
Yeah. That's so wild.
There's no elaborate graphs or plots or anything. It's all pure maths maybe it's done by hand, but like it's unlikely.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun to be looking through and trying to figure out.
It isn't. And like trying to write this up in a way that isn't just blatant plagiarism is actually really difficult.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, the way I understood the topic initially was by reading these like a basic example of a function. And then because I've got to essentially write this for me before I researched it, right? That would be the idea.
Yeah.
Of like the project. But then I'm just using their examples because that's how I learned it, so that's how I would teach it.
What? Yeah. See, this is the kind of stuff that really this is the stuff that really irritates me about like essays. It's like often you're just like trying to write something trying to write the same thing that someone else wrote, just slightly different. But like, what purpose does that really serve?
It's to kind of show you understand it, I guess. Like,
but
it's not the words they care about. It's like the underlying message is correct.
Yeah, but that seems. What is the point in doing that? Like, I'm sure there are other ways.
I don't think
maybe by using it.
I think it's the same reason they teach GCSE maths. Is that they teach GCSE maths not for you to use it; it's for me to use it.
Yeah, I guess.
Or it's for chemists to use it, or biologists to use it. But you get dragged along because it's easier to work on these economies of scale. And in a maths degree, it's easier just to say, here's a module choice you can do. Right? It's 20 credits. It's pretty much mandatory. Like, have at it.
Yeah.
And then the people who benefit from it, and the people who don't get some credits.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's a skill you don't need, but it's a skill that we're assessing.
Yeah. There's a lot in academics that just I just don't quite get.
But Josh, you made a good point about basically writing something someone else has written, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I think it's a good point. So let's talk about that with Borderlands 3.
Wait, what is this segue?
This segue is perfect because Tyreen and Troy are just Handsome Jack, but written in another way. But they miss the key points about Handsome Jack that made him good.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me that wasn't a valid segue.
Well, it required explanation, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Actually, there was one character that I thought actually like. Actually, maybe not better at being Handsome Jack, but being like a dumb Handsome Jack.
Was it Handsome Jesse?
No. No, not Handsome Jesse. It was on Athena. On Athena when I guess it's like the general guy that's the money one guy.
He was a captain.
Oh, okay,
Captain
yeah.
Tron.
Yeah, Captain Tron. Yeah, he was kind of reminding me of some, like, the dialogue with Jack from Borderlands 2. It was just, like, a dumber version.
That would be Tyrone and Troy, though. They're just a dumber version.
Well, not in the same way, though. Like, they're like,
Jack had, like,
annoyingly
motivation,
dumb.
And Tyreen and Troy don't.
No, you don't see. They want power. It's really good motivation.
It's worse as well. That's the funniest part. I don't know how far into the game you are.
I have got the second vault piece on Eden 6.
There's only one vault piece in Eden 6.
Well, I've got a vault piece on Eden 6. Are you sure there aren't two? Like a piece of the vault key.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant one vault. No, never mind.
No, yeah, just I've got a couple of pieces of the key.
So you haven't even opened the second vault?
No, I haven't.
Wow, I can't believe this.
The game, there's been a lot of weird things with this game. and they just keep on coming, because yesterday when I was playing it, the game just deleted one of my guns. I don't know why. It's...
What? Why?
I don't know why. It could have just been that it, like, fell through the terrain, but then it wasn't in, like, the lost loot box, and I don't know why. It was a legendary as well.
Do you understand what the lost loot box is? Because I've beaten the game, and the only time I've ever had lost loot is while playing with you.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I have lost loot in it all the time.
I kind of feel like I'm being cheated out of items.
Well, I guess... Well, I'm
at the point in the game where I'm pretty much using exclusively legendaries, but, like... So.
Oh, they throw them at you so often.
There's 130-something legendaries.
Yes. That's...
Because in my head I was like, I'm going to try and collect one of each. But then I found out that, like, Mayhem kind of ruins that whole idea.
Mayhem?
Yeah, so, well, it's actually anointed effects on guns. I don't know if you've had any yet, because the only time I saw them before Endgame was in the, like, Iridium vending machine.
Oh, okay. I've seen anointed enemies. That's my only, like, frame of reference for that word.
So anointed guns are basically guns that have, like, an added effect. So you'll get, like, a flacker, but it will say after action skill ends, the next 2 magazines will deal 50% cold damage extra.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But the problem with that is that what it ends up turning into, from what I've seen, is you get a bunch of those that say after action skill ends, do more damage, and then you spam your action skill, it ends, and then you do loads of damage. And then you wait until you can use your action skill again, and you do it again.
Okay.
And on Flak, that's fine, I guess, because when you use your action skill, there's like a 15-second cooldown or something, minimum, and then you get to go again.
Yeah.
But on Amara, that isn't true.
Yeah, on Amara, I think...
A phase grab. If you aim it at the floor, action skill went off, but it gets refreshed. Guess what you've now got?
Oh, it counts for that?
Yep, it's called. They call it false grab on the Reddit, I think.
Oh my god,
right? Which is absurd.
Wait, so they've been nerfing other things so far, but not
they
that.
Nerfed the drop from the final boss because it was too good. It fired too fast because it was absurdly broken in Flak's hands. Because what the effect of it was, on a critical hit, add 3 shots to the magazine. It takes 3 shots to fire. Add 3 shots to the magazine, and then ricochet 3 times, and those shots can home back in on the original target. And Flak's middle ability, his action skill, is fade out. The next 3 shots are guaranteed crits. And then you would have crit scaling as well. So what would happen is you would fire, you basically take out the king or queen's call, because it's the same gun, but the name is different.
Yeah.
You'd phase out, your crit damage would go up by 75% for every crit you got in a row. Guaranteed crits, so first shot plus 75, next shot plus 150, next shot plus 225. And you've been able to spam fire it. The shots shoot out. You've got 9 really high-powered shots coming back in.
Jesus Christ!
You melt her. The thing is, so when I say her, I mean Tyrene. Obviously, you fight Tyrene at the end of the game.
What?
Right? It's not a spoiler to say that she's the final boss. She's terrible. I hate her. I hate most of the bosses in Borderlands, though. Borderlands 3, at least.
Yeah, there are a lot. I think some of them have been okay, but
I liked Troy. Troy was a good boss. You haven't fought Troy yet, but
no,
you will.
Yeah, we sometime later.
Right, he's a good boss. Although it's the invulnerability phases that I don't like.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the first Vault Guardian, or the Vault Monster has invulnerability phases when it's like transforming. And
I'm kind of okay with that because at least then it's changing its phase and it does something different after it.
It takes a long time though. It must take like 10 seconds just to like go through that transformation.
Oh, 10, you're lucky. Wait until you see Troy. You'll knock him out. It'll be 30 seconds flying about before he comes back down to be vulnerable again.
Oh my god.
Tyreen is very similar in that regard. In that, with Tyreen, there's like a special thing you have to do. I won't spoil how you fight her, but like, you do a thing, she goes invulnerable, then you have to do another thing so she becomes vulnerable again. And that bit's fine. I don't have a problem with the thing you have to do. Again, trying not to spoil it.
Yeah.
But the problem that I encounter is that at a certain point, she just flies off into the distance and comes back a minute later after doing a load of attacks. And it's like, why can't I attack her right now? It's like, oh, well, she has to do some attacks here because otherwise this fight's trivial because of how absurdly broken critical hits are against her.
Yeah, the way they should be balancing fights is really not by adding invulnerability and making them just do attacks without you being able to do like anything about it.
But the other side of this coin, though, is Borderlands 2 problem.
Yeah.
Where in Borderlands 2, enemies had like billions of health. And the numbers got really high, and you would get one shot almost every time, and you required slag to kill them. Yeah. And only the absurdly broken builds could do anything in the end game.
Yeah.
And everything got like nerfed down, and like the game is more balanced, I would say.
Yeah.
But oh my god. Like farming some of those bosses, just like I spend more time waiting than I do fighting.
Yeah.
Because if you can't attack them, there's no point firing your gun. You just go and sit in a corner and hide from them.
Exactly. It's like it's the most unfun thing you can have. Well, other than just being instantly one shot, I guess. But it's not a very fun thing to have to do. It's just sit and wait for them to be damageable again.
See, I've only fought like 3 of the bosses more than once. Like after I'd beaten the game.
Yeah.
Like obviously I fought like the first boss in the game 3 times now.
Yeah.
Because like you make a new character, you have to fight that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm on my 3rd character.
Who did you pick this time?
Amara.
Okay.
Mainly because I didn't everyone says Zane is really good and he's really cool, but I kind of hate him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like you can't use a grenade. Like, why didn't they give him an extra button to assign?
There is one skill that allows you to use grenades again, because it just makes your action skill button activate all action skills. So you don't really need to use. There's no use for having 2 assigned then.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I'll play a Siren, because the story doesn't make any sense if you're playing a Siren.
No, it doesn't.
So you've gotten to the, I'm going to call it the Mara scene, right?
The Mara scene?
The scene with... Did I say Mara? Maya. The Maya scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have.
So spoilers to anyone who cares. I wouldn't recommend you care. But this scene made me so goddamn angry.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about it.
Probably not as angry, but
I hated every second of it.
Why did she die?
Yeah, that's the point, right? Is that she is like an expert siren.
Yeah.
She's trained on her own for at least 8 years, right?
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, like, she like encounters Troy, and then Troy like drains her because stupid Ava decided to come and like tag along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. It didn't even make sense that Maya was like in a.
Maya can phase lock.
Yeah. she could have actually done something about it. She didn't fight them at all.
No, they never do. I'm going to say this to you, and it's, I guess, a spoiler, but it really isn't. Is that there are so many times during the plot, and you will see this, that Tyreen literally could have killed everyone.
Yeah.
And she didn't. But also there's... So I'll give the Maya cutscene a bit of slack in that the Vault Hunter reasonably was inside the vault during this whole encounter, and they wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
And the only reason you see the cutscene when you come out is just to catch you up on what was happening.
That's fine.
Because if they killed Maya off screen, that would have been worse.
Yeah.
But there is a scene at the very end involving, like, basically every main character is there. You fight off some waves of enemies. Tyreen, like, teleports in, like, does whatever she's about to do and leaves. And I just think, hold on a minute, I'm, like, canonically in this cutscene. I'm, like, standing just below that edge there.
Yeah.
Why was I not able to shoot her in the head? And you might say, oh, she's a siren, she's really powerful. But you fight her, and I'm not joking when I say this, 10 minutes later.
And I'm assuming the crit spot is the head.
Oh, the crit spot isn't just her head. It's basically her entire body.
What?
Yeah, she's... Because of the way the whole, like, ending plays out, she's really easy to hit, because she doesn't move around very much. She's really slow. You can walk up to her and stand in front of her, reload your gun, and then unload into her, and she won't attack you back. Because of the way that the fight works.
This doesn't sound like a very good fight.
The fight is kind of okay. I think it's only good because of that, because otherwise it would be a really annoying fight. Because outside of that, like, moment, she's kind of obnoxious to hit, and you can't crit her.
Okay.
But inside of that, you can, and she just melts.
Yeah.
It's a polarizing fight. I was looking around, and people were saying they found Troy like a piece of cake, and Tyreen really hard, and some were saying the other way around. I would agree that Troy is a lot harder than Tyreen.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, that depends on what kind of build you've got.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing Amara.
Yeah.
You're doing, like, heavy elemental build, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Are you using Incendiary?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. You will melt Tyreen, and you'll have a little bit of trouble with Troy.
Okay.
Because Troy is obnoxious to hit.
Yeah.
Because he moves around like a goddamn madman.
So you said you've been playing Amara, because I
okay, I'm level 7.
Okay. I mean, you still got action skill though.
Yeah.
Because I've
used all of them, I think.
Yeah?
All of the basic ones.
I didn't realize how good the astral projection was. It's like...
It's interesting, because that was the first one I picked. It was terrible.
Okay.
Maybe it gets better when you have, like, skill points, but I used it for the first, like, 5 levels.
Yeah.
And it just felt like every enemy I threw it into had immunity to shock.
Oh, rip.
Because you don't have anything except shock at that point. So you go and fight the, like, Varkid, it's immune to shock. You go and fight the Skag, it's immune to shock.
It should still do damage, though, because I don't think it's
elemental. Yeah, but it says resist and does, like, nothing, as opposed to, like, the slam or the grab that enable you to do a lot of damage.
Oh, okay.
Because the slam, at very least, hits really hard, even, like, if you're hitting, like, an element type.
I haven't actually tried that one yet. But the
slams I found really good, because it just means that, like, you're in the middle of a group of enemies and everything explodes, and then using the fact that you deal more damage at close range with Amara, you sort of melt anything in front of you at low levels.
Yeah.
Although I'm also at the point where I haven't got a legendary and I don't have a good gun, particularly. It's the early game, so it takes a lot of shots to kill things. But the moment I get Jacob's gun, I'm going to melt anything.
Yeah.
Because Jacob's is really strong in this game.
Yeah. There's an assault rifle I found, which is like...
Boo. Boo.
So Jacob's assault rifle, though.
I don't care. Jacob's pistol's where it's at.
I mean...
Pistol, sniper rifles, and shotguns.
I wish I had a sniper rifle. Don't have one at the moment. but it's like 2-round burst, but like insane critical damage, like it has like really high damage for an assault rifle, like anyway. So it's like, as long as you're just hitting the heads, it's like the most efficient way of killing things because it's using like no ammo.
That's pretty much what I've been finding, is that like hitting people in the head with a Jacob's gun just annihilates like anything below mayhem.
Yeah.
Is the bonus mode, which I have problems with.
So is this like New Game Plus?
No, so mayhem is a mode that you turn on, and it gives enemies like more health, more armor.
Okay.
I think they do more damage, and they like. And then there's a bunch of unique effects that they get given, like pistols do more damage, but sniper rifles do less, or enemies fire an extra projectile, something like that. There's like some unique effect for the area you're in.
That sounds like it could be interesting.
One area to the next is like very different. Well, is a little bit different.
Yeah.
The problem is, while you say that could be interesting, the other side of the coin exists as well, which is if it's not, it's tedious.
Yeah.
You know how OP levels aren't fun?
The first, like, 1 or 2...
That's 1 or 2, they're like, well, this is really unique, and then you get to 10, and you're like, I want to die. I think we went for, like, insane. 2 hours just pushing all the OP levels, because we hated doing them, and we just wanted it to be over.
Yeah. It was nice to, like, get to the end, but yeah.
I wouldn't exactly call it, like, a fun... I think, the thing is, the worst part about all this is that if I got a character to 80 again, I would probably ask you to help me push them into 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well...
Because you have OP 10 guns, so you would be able to help me.
That's true. Yeah. Actually, would I be able to use them, though?
Yes, you would.
Okay. So that would make it quite trivial.
Somewhat. I'd be playing like Zero or Gauge or something, which is not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. We've solved our technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we were talking about, but
oh god, what were we talking about?
Borderlands 3, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about mayhem and OP levels.
Yeah.
And how you would help me carry my my characters through OP10.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely... Well, I don't know. It's going to take a while. We've got to make time for it.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
See, I am wondering though when the like end of Borderlands 3 is. And I mean that as like, when do I consider a character complete?
Yeah. Because we're quite early on in like its
life cycle.
Yeah. They could like increase the level cap.
Well, I think the level cap's being increased in like 3 days.
Oh, really?
Something like that. I've heard some announcements like on the horizon, and there was a leak that said that they're increasing the level cap to 57.
To 57? Okay.
Yeah. Which I'm not opposed to. I think it does run some risks that Borderlands 2 had, which was that the builds got too good too fast, and they couldn't make challenges that could compensate for the fact that there were builds that in 7 skill points doubled their damage.
Yeah. I mean, I did quite enjoy just being able to put so many skill points into things, but...
Oh, it's really nice, like, being able to, like, this is a quality of life skill. Like, Flak having the pet that can heal. Like, always being able to have that is, like, would be a nice thing.
Yeah.
But I also imagine that the best builds are going to be using, like... Well, to be fair, the crit Flak build does use that tree, and it is the one that I've been enjoying the most. So it's actually highly likely that I'll be able to keep that skill, because I already use it, and I only have 53 skill points. Sorry, 51 skill points.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I feel like properly trying to go for like the maximum amount of damage you can do in Borderlands 2.
That's why the vulnerability phases exist.
Yeah, but this...
It stops like the grog nozzling like bullshit that occurred.
Yeah, but it just...
Like, Salvador was an incredibly broken character. Do you remember what was it we were fighting?
Where, like, not the way to solve that problem, though. It just makes it.
Do you remember what we were fighting? It must have been like the last raid boss. It wasn't particularly strong, but it was the last one. From Borderlands 2, where like the moment it opened its mouth, it instantly died because I was playing Salvador and I hit it twice in the mouth. Right? Like there are limits to what you can do.
I kind of like that though.
You like that, but
it's
like,
more fun than having it be invulnerable.
Yeah, but Salvador did way more damage than Gage did. From memory, I never got my Gage to 72, and I guess now 80. Forgive me.
Yeah.
But, like, Gage had this whole wind-up of having to have Anarchy. You have to build the stacks of Anarchy, and then you would attack. The problem with that is that Salvador just had to hit one button and he could go, so farming was incredibly easy. But for Gage, you either had to not use an Anarchy build, which ignored a huge amount of what she did.
Yeah.
Or you had to, like, accept that you did low damage for, like, a long time. Because you couldn't reload either. That was, like, another thing with Anarchy that was weird. is you couldn't reload, so you couldn't use TDO guns, which I'm not saying I did. But it meant that, like, you would go into some fights shooting once and reloading.
That's... Wait, why? So, was reloading, like...
Reset your Anarchy stacks.
Oh, jeez.
I don't get that either. I kind of feel like Gage was already at a handicap of being, like, a scaling damage dealer.
Yeah.
If she died, she lost them as well. If you're playing on Ultimate Vault Hunter, you're going to die.
How long did it take to, like, build up to max?
I think it was, like... It must have been, like, every kill you gained an Anarchy stack, or every headshot you gained an Anarchy stack. And it would scale infinitely, to my recollection. It's been about 5 years since I played Gage.
Wait, so you could just gain as many stacks as you want?
Yeah, I think so. But it was annoying to gain stacks. Like, once you'd gained a decent number, you were able to continue going because, like, every shot you fired, you basically insta-killed everything that, like, looked at you. Yeah. You had to get to that point, and that's not... It wasn't consistent.
It just took too long.
Which then meant Gage doing raid bosses and Salvador doing raid bosses, very different experience. Where Salvador pulled out, like, a Grog Nozzler and, like, anything else and just went to town.
Yeah.
Gage couldn't do that.
Different.
Gage had to be like, I'll send out my death trap and then I'll try and, like, duck about or something. And I was like, yeah, less fun.
Yeah. I mean, Salvador is, like...
The broken one. He's the DPS.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, like, the only character that you could really be doing that with.
Oh, but to be fair, Zero, like, one-shot Hyperion the Invincible.
That's... I was going to say, Zero is also, very,
like specialized build.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, Krieg had some, like, absurd melee build that would one-shot raid. Basically, Gage was underpowered, is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like it.
Because her big thing was the death trap, which actually just wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the nice change from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3 is that the pet builds in Borderlands 3 are actually, like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you've seen my, like, the beginnings of the Moe's, like, Iron Bear build.
Yeah.
Where you just drop an Iron Bear and you, like, get out and let it do its thing.
Yeah.
It just, like, annihilates everything in, like, a 180-degree, like, radius.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it seems like there's no one build I've looked at where I've gone, that doesn't seem like very much fun to play, or it doesn't seem like it would do much.
Iron Bear is, like, initially, as you know, a horrible, horrible experience.
Well, yeah, you have to...
Because you can't make it work. Because you just don't have the skill points that enable you to use it for long enough to make it a fun experience. You get in it, you fire 6 times, and you get out. Where, like, everyone else gets to be like, I send my skag to nuclear explode into that area, and then they will, like, maul things for a minute.
Yeah, I
or
guess.
as a Mara, it's like I'm gonna like jump in, slam down, fire, and then like 10 seconds from now I'm gonna do it again. You don't have like 120-second cooldown or whatever absurd amount it is. I think it's only about a minute.
A minute?
Yeah.
That is... Okay,
it's long still.
Is too long.
It might be 45 seconds, but it doesn't really matter because like you basically fire 6 shots and then you get out. But like, if you eventually you'll get enough skill points to make it last like enough time that you'll kill every enemy and then you'll get out, which is a nice feeling. I mean, but also because it doesn't use your weapons, I imagine it's going to drop off in damage extremely fast.
Yeah. Well, doesn't it have like? I think the damage scales with level.
No, the damage does scale with level, but the issue that you encounter is the reason why the crit build with Flak made the King's Call so broken was because the King's Call had that legendary effect that made it absurd because it basically did 4 times damage on headshots.
Yeah.
You don't get that on Iron Bear. The best you might be getting is like a shield effect that gives Iron Bear a little bit more damage. Yeah. But I think you're going to be out of mech most of the time, having Iron Bear running around soaking up damage just so that you can attack and deal high damage, because that's actually the way that the anointed and legendary effects are playing off each other.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it will be fun to play for a bit.
I think it'd be fine up to like 53 or 57 or whatever the new level cap's going to be.
Yeah.
But I think for like Mayhem 1, 2, 3, 4, it's struggling. I often see people complaining that Moze just doesn't have enough going for her. For these like high level content.
Yeah.
Whereas you'll see
That's a shame.
You'll see Amara being busted in those high level contents.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because it's just because she can like false grab and then gains the damage bonus and then can do it again a bit later.
It's weird to me that they haven't nerfed that yet. It's really weird to me that they haven't nerfed that yet.
Well, I feel like the way to nerf it is just to make it so that it only works if the ability like goes off.
Yeah.
You have to grab a target.
Well, actually, yeah, I shouldn't be saying nerfed. I should just be saying fixed. Because
that works as intended.
Yeah, that really doesn't sound like it works as intended.
It's the weird spaghetti code that Borderlands 3 actually has going on in it. Like, we've seen cars stand on 2 front wheels.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that was...
like, unaided.
It doesn't make any sense. This game... Actually, honestly, I was only really having problems when I was playing with you. Like, it might just be the multiplayer.
Yeah, but it's a multiplayer game. It's a 1-4 player game.
I'm not saying that it's fine. It's just, yeah, it seemed like I was only having issues when we were doing multiplayer. Because none of those issues were happening in single player.
Trying to think if I've had anything like really weird in single player. There is a bug that is unfixed, and I'm mad that it's unfixed.
Yeah.
So there's 3 bugs that make me really mad.
Sorry, I just remembered another thing. Yeah, go on.
So there's a quest near the end of the game where Typhon de Leon is walking towards a door. Spoilers, you meet Typhon de Leon.
Oh, he actually appears as a character.
You know this. I've already mentioned this to you.
I
mentioned I was going to meet him.
Okay. Sure.
It's not a big surprise. And by the way, Josh, I do know if that spoiler is like that reveal happens. I know if it happens. I won't tell you if it does. But
oh yeah, okay.
What actually happened makes me really mad. I can't believe they got away with what actually happens. Like, someone in the writer's room must have been like, guys, this is dumb. This is terrible. Why are you writing this? But Typhon de Leon is walking towards a door, and he just stops.
Yeah.
And he doesn't move again. And the only way to fix it is to restart your game, or like reload the game, which means you have to fight the enemies again.
Actually, yeah, I have had that. Well, a similar issue. Where like an NPC is just you need to wait for them to go somewhere, but they just don't. When I was doing the what was it, the family jewels, the family jewel, that ship.
Oh, okay,
on Eden 6. I was waiting
that mission.
When I first realized that
it was so long.
When I first realized that it was a ship, I was like kind of excited because it seemed like a cool environment, but once you're on the inside, it's not so interesting.
It just reminds you of that Hammerlock DLC. So you go and fight like Jackenstein.
Yeah, that mission did go on for a long while, actually.
We'll get back to that point.
But at one point, Balex just got stuck on like a ramp. It was just vibrating around. So I just...
Did you have to restart?
Yeah. There was like literally no other way to fix it. So I had to do that like the couple of rooms before that point again, which is a little annoying.
The worst one I've seen is the slaughterhouses. I don't know if you've done any.
No, not yet.
They're really hidden. I didn't know there was one on Promethea until like I was looking at like it said there was one quest remaining on Promethea, but there was no locations left.
Oh, okay.
And I looked up online the locations on Promethea, and I was like, I haven't been there yet. And it's like it unlocks after you've completed the area the first time, I think.
Oh, really?
You go there and you fight like a bunch of animals, a bunch of beasts.
Yeah.
And it's fun, relatively. There's a lot of XP in there. There's good legendary drops. All things considered, it's fine. Except the Racks, who, beyond being really tanky and require you just to spend a huge amount of ammo, like, attempting to deal with them, they get stuck behind walls.
Oh.
And then, because it's a slaughterhouse, and this is... I want to tell you my favourite mechanic of the slaughterhouse. If you do... There's 5 rounds. The first, I think, 2 waves... So 2 rounds have 3 waves, and then the next 2 have 4, and the last one has 5. So if you're keeping count here, that's 19 waves you have to fight.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I'll correct that if I have to. There's 19 waves for you to fight. You'll never guess what. If you quit the game, because if you're after like 10 of them, you have to do those 10 again. You have to do it in one sitting, all 19 waves.
I mean, it makes sense that you'd have to do like one run of the slaughterhouse like in one sitting, but that sounds like too many waves to actually be dealing with in one sitting. It's kind of annoying.
Well, the thing is, it's 5 in the Borderlands 2 slaughterhouses. You remember, like the fridge or the wildlife reserve or the Hyperion area. You would do round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, and then round 5. But there'd be different quests, and then you would be able to repeat round 5.
Oh, yeah. So instead, they've just combined it into one.
They've combined it into one and said it's fine if you die. Like you do round 1 and then you die. You just have to start from round 2. Like, yeah, don't worry, pal. But don't quit. Like, you have to stay. It took me 95 minutes to beat the Slaughterhouse 3000. It was much shorter for the Sanctuary, the Pandora one, but that's because I was level 53. And, like, I'd hit max level, I'd gotten reasonable gear, because I thought the raid was the final mission I had to do. So I did the raid, and then I went back and did it. And because I'd finished the raid, I was strong enough to do these slaughterhouses.
Yeah.
And by the way, the raid boss, I kind of didn't like a huge amount.
Yeah.
It's fun. It was kind of easy, but that was because I think it was scaled to one person. Okay. But also it had like some terrible mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the raid boss is I like a big mech. Which is fine, you know. It's a raid boss.
Yeah.
But it has a shield, and you have to shoot. But the shield's an immune shield. You have to shoot around it, so through the holes in it. Originally, there's 4 holes at the bottom and 4 like slits at the top you can shoot through. Then once you like take it down to 25% health, it has one big hole and it rotates around it. And then after that, it has a shield that you have to go into the range of, because you can't shoot through it, but you can walk through it, and then shoot through the hole. Then that shield will go down, and then you can do it as you were doing it before. And then after that, it splits into 2, and one half follows you around shooting you, and one like stands still firing from a distance. And that's... I died at that phase, and I was really mad about it.
That just seems frustrating.
Hard.
I'd rather just have a boss that just attacks you. Doesn't really have much in terms of like gimmicks.
I think the gimmick was fine.
All of that. It seems really annoying to try and like...
Because you had to hit this like in between this one spot.
Yeah.
You had to go... So I did it as Slack, and I did it with the invisibility build, because honestly, just being able to go... I hit you 1,000 times, and when I get low on health, I go invisible and then like heal up and then do it again. Like that, it felt fine.
Yeah.
If I was playing with like a Gamma Burst build, I don't think I would have beaten it.
Yeah.
Because the problem with the like pet builds is the pet. And I don't mean this normally, I mean this specifically against bosses.
Okay.
What will happen is it will run up to the boss and attack it. That's what you want, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
So the 3 pets you've got the Rack, you've got the Skag, and you've got the Jabber. The Rack and the Skag have like melee hybrids. They like vomit on it and hit it with their claws. That's about it. And the Jabber shoots it with a gun.
Okay.
Which is, it's fine. Even the Jabber will run up to it and just die. The pet physically cannot survive near the raid boss, yet they can't damage it otherwise. Which means the Gamma Burst builds literally do no damage unless you're using anointed guns that let Gamma Burst, like while Gamma Burst is active, do more damage.
So, yeah, pets are just useless against...
The pets are completely useless against bosses. And I'd be fine with that if they just decided that, like, if the pet couldn't survive in that range, they don't go in that range, and they just stay back and, like, heal you. Like, when you go down.
Yeah.
But they don't do that, so they just run in and die, and then you're left without a pet, and you can't be rezzed by them. So skill point's dead in that fight.
Yeah, you just...
And not all skill points need to be always useful, but it's not like it's a very specialised, like, on-kill do X. It's a... If your pet is alive, there's some, like, moderate benefit.
Yeah.
And your pet just doesn't survive raid bosses.
Yeah, that seems stupid. Like...
It is very stupid.
Yeah. It's like an obvious flaw of the pets that...
Because they're relatively tanky, except in this scenario, where they run in and like, basically get hit by this AoE that's always going on, and just melt.
Yeah. I guess maybe Gearbox expected people to be switching between their powers more. It's like switching up their power for a certain fight.
This is a mechanic. I think this is a glitch, or like not intended. But if you swap your pet as your pet is dying, it just summons a new pet. They're not dying or anything.
Oh, really?
You have a 3-second like that you don't have a pet. Actually, I think it's like 2 seconds, and then you have a pet again. So what I ended up doing, and I didn't do this for very long because it was a really tedious thing. But when my pet went down, I just like summoned a new pet, and then I'd summon the pet I wanted again. So now its death timer was 5 seconds, not 50 or 60, because that's how long. If your pet dies, you have to wait 60 seconds for a new one.
Yeah. Okay, so
you're saving like 90% of your time by like doing this tedious swap.
Okay, Yeah, that seems a little broken.
But the thing is, it is broken because the pets are kind of garbage in this instance. If they died, they aren't useful.
Well, it doesn't seem like that's intended, is what I mean.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's intended at all.
Yeah.
If Gearbox came out and said, yeah, we intend that, the least they could do is make it so that I can like quickly swap between pets and not have to go into my menu. And like in multiplayer it wouldn't work because it wouldn't pause the game.
It would have been kind of nice if there was like you could keybind ability switching.
That would make what's his name worse.
Who?
Zane.
Really?
Because Zane has two abilities, right? That's his whole
thing. I guess, yeah. Like, it makes sense why they wouldn't. Because, well, one, your build is probably going to be suited to, like, one action skill.
Yeah, without Fade Away, most of Flack's, like, middle tree is terrible.
Yeah.
And also augments just wouldn't work. Because augments only really work on the ability that they're being used for.
I mean, for Amara, I think it's
even for Amara, they're that way. Like I've taken a look, they're like
the ones I've used so far seem like pretty.
The slam that you get makes it so that it creates a nova, but if you don't have the slam on, the nova wouldn't get created. Obviously,
would it not?
Well, no, because you're not slamming down.
Oh, does it say specifically for the slam?
I don't think so, but it wouldn't really matter. I'll take a look.
Because there's like yeah, I guess some of them don't make sense because there's like a locked one, well, a locking one. So when like anything that's damaged by your action skill gets phase locked. So I guess that wouldn't make too much sense with phase grab.
No, it does just say Amara's action skill now just creates a nova.
Yeah, so it's enemies. Like it could work for the phase. Well, it could work for any of them really, because they all do a little bit of damage.
Skill are confused. If Amara targets an enemy with phase grab, enemy scenario grab. So that one has a specific.
Okay, so there are some
flaws. A lot of Amaras actually do seem to be like very generic.
Yeah, I mean the ones I've like unlocked at least.
You know that isn't actually, this is just not true for Flack. I'll pull up Flack because I know you don't have you don't have any experience on them.
No.
But like all of their skills say things like on like things. You know, why am I guessing? I have it right here. Pet is surrounded by a radiation aura that constantly damages enemies, requires Gamma Burst. The next one. Flak deals increased damage while Gamma Burst is active, requires Gamma Burst.
Okay.
Each kill made by Flak or Pet extends Gamma Burst duration and increases Pet damage, requires Gamma Burst.
So really specific to just this
Rift created by Gamma Burst remains for the full duration of the skill. Flak and allies near the Rift rapidly regenerate health, requires Gamma Burst. And the next one says requires Fade Away, requires Fade Away, requires Fade Away, requires Fade Away, requires Rack Attack, requires Rack Attack. Like, I'll tell you when I don't find it. They all say requires a skill, which is why I believe this to be true.
Okay, yeah, so
because
that's
all
like
of the arguments say it.
If you changed your skill, like you'd be so much worse off.
Yeah, but the thing is, instead of changing your skill, you would just have the ability to change your pet. And that doesn't change anything majorly, it just changes the minor benefit that you have. Like, Gamma Burst still works with a Spider Ant, a Skag, or a Jabba. Rack Attack still works with them all, and so does Fade Away.
Okay.
So that would be the change,
okay, that's
I guess.
Not too bad. Yeah.
I'm still not a fan of the idea of changing, though, because it does, like, completely invalidate one of the characters. It would be like if in Borderlands 2 they said everyone can now dual wield.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now Salvador is way worse, or you make him really good at it.
Yeah.
But then you're forcing him into, like, dual wielding builds.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't have an action skill either.
Yeah. It would be weird. Oh, there was one other thing that happened to me. I was gonna say like clearly not intended. But as soon as I got to the not the estate on Eden 6, but like the house that wow, I can't why can't I remember his name? Hammerlock and the rest. Yeah.
Oh, that one. Like that house. Wait, did you have the dinosaur like phase through the wall at you?
Yeah, I did. Did you have this as well?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
I got legendary from it too.
So did I. Why did that happen?
Question: was it a Jacob's gun?
It might have been. I don't know.
Because I got a really high crit Jacob's gun from this dinosaur.
Okay. I think I might have got shotgun.
I used it for the entire duration. I was like, really? I'm in the Jacobs area, I'm going to use the Jacobs gun. Not that really. I would have done that anyway, to be fair, because it was a better gun than I had, and I like Jacobs. They feel good.
They do. I mean,
I thought it was just me who had this happen. It was like, oh, okay, there was like a dinosaur that was on the lift or something.
It didn't make any sense why it happened. It just phased through all the walls and the terrain. It was just there.
The dinosaurs I found are always really easy to fight until they're like the ram guys. And the ram guys are obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their crit spot is where their head is, I think. But like it's in the mouth. Or the eyes are,
Yeah.
somewhere not very easy to access.
Yeah.
I play crit builds, which make it really hard to fight things when you can't just instantly crit.
Yeah, I would imagine it would. Yeah.
Josh, now that we've sung Borderlands 3's praises, kind of.
It was a bit
marginally. I mean, I will say I think the story is absolutely terrible. There are about 3 likable characters in the game, and the new characters they've added all suck. Without a doubt.
Some of them...
I mean, I like Balex, I guess.
Yeah, Balex is alright.
Balex and Clay were alright, and I guess so was the Jacobs guy. Basically, anything that involved the plot, I didn't like.
Oh, pretty much. Yep.
And like, the last hour of the game is such a terrible waste of characters, time, development, voice actors, fun.
Just an all-around waste.
I would say the last hour of the game is the worst Borderlands experience I've ever had.
Wow. That's... okay.
Until you beat Tyrene. And I think the Tyrene fight is like... It peaks as like, okay. Yeah. So it's like, this is a fine-ish final boss. And then the final cutscene is terrible.
Oh.
Not only is it terrible, I cringed, I think, through my desk.
What? What do you mean by that?
I think my head went through my desk.
Oh.
There might be a hole here.
Oh.
I hated it so much. It's the worst dialogue I've ever heard.
I'm really hoping that, like, DLC can kind of save this game a bit.
But it can't because of how it ends. It's just... Oh, I'm so angry.
Not in terms of saving, like, the main story, but just...
The main story is, like, gone. We're like, done with it now.
Yeah. I like, just have some, good DLC stories that stand by themselves and are much better. I don't know how confident I am in that, though.
Listen, all I want is a Tiny Tina DLC at this point, because Tiny Tina was like, and Brick and Mordecai were the only parts of the game where it was like, I'm enjoying this. I enjoyed the Hammerlock stuff, I guess. Yeah. But like Tiny Tina, honestly, as she grew up in the games, she didn't get more annoying.
No,
really. Like, I actually think she's more tolerable in this than she is in Borderlands 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, because she acts like a person.
Yeah.
She's a crazy person, but I can see, like, the points of humanity in her. It's the same reason people liked the Assault on Dragon Keep. Because they could see the parts of Tina that were like, this isn't just, like, a comedic character for the sake of it. This is, like, a damaged child.
Yeah.
And she's a damaged adult.
Yeah. Did she actually, like, appear much more than just that tiny part on the insects?
Oh, there's, like... No, she's on Pandora at the end as well.
Okay.
At the end, she's in Pandora, then, like, basically immediately after Eden 6, she's there. Okay. She has, like, 3 quests.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So those were my, like, favourite quests.
I was glad to see that she's back. That did make me happy. She's not back
for long. I don't like the bunny ears.
No.
Like, they work with her character design. I'm just not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would have done instead, because without them, there's, like, a lot of empty space that I think they would have had to have done something with.
Yeah, I guess.
But also...
Did she have the original?
No, she didn't, but she really liked bunnies, remember?
Yeah.
Because she was a kid.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of, like...
It's a nice, like,
it makes sense. Back. Yeah.
And, like, Brick was funny. I enjoyed Brick and Mordecai's relationship.
It's a shame that they're not, like, they're not so in it, I guess.
I want a Bungeons and Badasses. I just do.
Yeah.
Because in the credits, you see them playing it.
Oh, really?
There's, like, a picture, like, a drawing of them playing it.
Okay. So maybe we'll get like another Tiny Tina DLC.
I like the way because, like, it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense why they're playing it, because there's 2 of them. There'd be 2 players in this campaign.
Yeah, how does?
And there's someone who plays a lot of D&D.
Was there even a DM?
Yeah, Tina was the DM.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it doesn't make a huge. It doesn't work a huge amount. With
I just realized they're obviously going to include Ava.
Oh, don't. Oh god, there's a scene with Tina and Ava. They have, like, one voice line together.
Yeah.
And Tina compliments Ava, and I'm like, Tina, don't make me dislike you. This isn't the time.
Yeah. She doesn't deserve the compliment.
It's crazy how much people don't like Ava.
I think it's too much. Like, Ava isn't that bad. She's not great, but she's
honestly,
she's
like,
not
she's
completely
fine.
Awful.
Like, she's an adequate character up until she gets Maya killed for literally no reason. Like, any kid could have seen that one siren could not fight 2 sirens, especially while she was there.
Even that, I'm not sure I even agree that's, like, her fault. It's not entirely her fault.
It may not be her fault, but it was completely unnecessary for her to be there.
Yeah, it was
Like, either she caused it or she didn't. And if she didn't cause it, we could have seen a really cool scene and, like, maybe even had an interactable bit where you and Maya, or just Maya, fight Troy and Tyrene.
My god, yeah.
And they get...
What a
and
cool
she can
thing
really show off what Maya's siren training has given her.
Yeah.
I want to remind you that they beat the Warrior, what was the Iridian's weapon for stopping people from, like, doing what they were going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I realised I was getting too close to a spoiler there, because it's not, you don't see that for a bit. That whole, like...
Yeah.
I got a complaint. I'll make it in a minute. But basically,
I guess they go
Ava shouldn't have been in that scene at all. It should have just been Maya.
Yeah. That would have been preferable.
Right? That would have been preferable. And the ending with Ava. Oh, man. I've never wanted to punch a kid before. But,
The ending with Ava? I guess I'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, in the final cutscene.
Okay.
She's the reason I cringed so hard. Because there's only 2 people who talk in the final cutscene, really. There's 3, but, like, very little from the third person.
Yeah.
And, like, Tannis and Ava are, like, talking. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much.
Ava seems like... well,
the kind of thing 13-year-old me might write.
Well...
No, that's unlikely, but, as, like, a self-insert character, I guess.
Oh, it really does. I was going to say, though, it seems like the exact type of person that Tannis would hate.
Yeah.
Does she hate Ava?
Tannis
I'm assuming she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. She's actually the voice of reason regarding Ava. Because the thing is, I hated Lilith in Borderlands 2. Genuinely hated her. Because was always like, she was really whiny in Borderlands 2.
Was she that whiny?
She was like, Angel said, under no circumstances should you come to the bunker. And you know what she did?
Oh, yeah.
She whined constantly, like, I want to go to the bunker. Let me go to the bunker. And then she went to the bunker, and what happened? Josh, can you remind me?
Oh, poor Roland.
Roland died.
Yeah.
And Lilith was taken captive, fed iridium to power the vault key, and then unleashed the warrior.
Yep. Okay,
Good job, Lilith.
Yeah, she didn't do too well there.
She did not.
Yeah.
And then what did she do in Borderlands 3? That's right, she didn't pay attention to the siren she just knocked out, and was like, you're a siren? And then got, like, grabbed. Instead of, I don't know, shooting them both in the head, like any other bandit on Pandora.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that's why Tyreen does it. She inherited Lilith's, like, terrible planning by absorbing her siren powers.
Oh, really?
So that kind of would have been interesting if when Tyreen absorbed Lilith's powers, she adopted a lot of Lilith's characteristics.
That would mean they had to... They had to recognize
Tyreen better, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And then when Troy took Maya's powers, he ended up a lot like Maya, and kind of like, that's why he didn't kill Ava, because he was like, oh, I kind of like this kid.
Yeah.
Like I'm genetically predisposed to now.
That could have been an interesting thing that they did. Maybe humanize the flippin' bad guys a little. But
I don't know, maybe you could have had the conflicting personalities of Troy and Maya and Tyreen and Lilith.
Yeah.
Like, sort of fighting inside of them until, like, eventually one of them had to win.
Oh, that would have been cool. It actually really would have been good.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. And if I was going to write the ending differently as well, I'd have Maya overcome Troy's, like, body. So now you've got Maya in Troy's body. But it's not real Maya, it's like fake Maya.
Yeah, because it was just her power.
Yeah. And then they die. That's it. Boom. 2 shots to the head.
Yeah.
Genuinely, if... This is the thing that kind of annoys me about Borderlands, is if Zero, Axton, Maya, Salvador, Krieg, or Gage walked up to the Calypsos, they would have died on impact.
Yeah.
Like a little Mexican guy runs up to you, pulls out 2 guns, and shoots you both in the head. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. And then we'd have a way better antagonist.
What, Salvador?
No, yeah, Salvador.
Who were you talking about?
We would have Aurelia left.
Oh, her?
Yeah.
Wait, was that
Ice Queen?
Was that Hamlock's sister?
Yeah, and the Lawbreaker from the pre-sequel.
Oh, really?
I forgot about this.
I haven't finished it.
I never beat the pre-sequel either. We should do that someday. Apparently the story is really good.
It's too bad, like, all of the areas that I've experienced in that game suck.
They were all the same, and they were all really floaty.
Yeah.
And the cryo wasn't particularly good, and fire damage did nothing. Because it was on the moon. It was on Opsis or something.
Yeah. Kinda bad.
Kind of bad, but I would like to beat it after I've beaten Borderlands 3 to my satisfaction.
Yeah.
Which basically means that, like, all characters are 53.
To satisfy your completionist tendencies.
Yeah. I think I've got every achievement bar, like, one that I can even get with that DLC.
On Borderlands 3?
Yeah, because, like, I remember the point I was going to make about something I really liked, which is the Iridian slabs, the Iridian writings.
Yeah.
Oh my god, those are good.
Yeah.
That and the Typhon de Leon logs. Best part of the game. In terms of story. And honestly, I would have been happy if none of the Troy Tyrene stuff happened.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I've been listening to, like, some of the Typhon logs as I've been walking around the game. And yeah, they're a lot more interesting. I like Typhon.
I think he's played by Danny DeVito.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's...
I heard that he was played by Danny DeVito.
I don't... His voice seems too high for that. I kind of see where that comes from, though.
Find out. Yeah, he did not.
Okay. Is it, like, anyone that we would know?
I'll look it up. I think I know why people are saying that. By the way, don't look up anything on Typhon's page.
Okay. Sure. Michael Cosner.
Yeah, it's crazy that his Borderlands page doesn't have that. No, hang on. I'm getting Paul Mercer.
What?
What?
Okay, maybe.
No, because there's another page that's also saying Michael Cosner. Why? Who did he play?
Well, he
seems to he's only had one role ever. Well, one game role ever, and that was Borderlands 3.
Okay.
He played Typhon de Leon, Bloody G, and the Mimic Slot Machine, which I assume are from the DLCs.
Okay.
But, like, he was a relatively, like, fun, like, thing to have around.
Yeah.
I just wish that the story actually got going. Like, at any point in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Because at least where I'm at, it doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere.
So, once you get to Necro de Feo, the game picks up. Undeniably, it picks up. The problem I have is that every time I get to a place, I like to pick up the side quest. Because I don't want to track around too much, right? So,
yeah,
see what we can do in different areas. What ends up happening, though, is I end up doing the side quests because they're infinitely more interesting than the main plot. And I was dreading finding out the reveal. So my pet theory for the entire game had been that Typhon de Leon was Troy and Tyrene's father. And I told it to you when we were playing, a while back. And anyone who's listening who has played Borderlands 3 knows the reality of that, that claim. Let's just say, when what was revealed, it was not tactful. There was no grace in its reveal. They just want to dump the information on you and leave.
Oh. Okay.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't really sound like
it's
a good way of doing it.
It's barely even addressed. So whatever you think the plot twist is, because there's going to be one, obviously, don't worry. You'll hate it regardless.
Because the plot twist will happen and then they're just like, yeah. That's pretty much it. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, the plot twist happens. You do a whole bunch of, like, walking around in a circle, activating a thing for the vaults, and then you fight the boss and the game ends.
Oh.
I'm not joking when I say that. That is actually the plot in the final area.
Okay.
You basically, like, get to this reveal of whatever the reveal is, and then the game ends.
Huh.
And no one even cares. They address it for like half a second. And you know the worst part? Every player under the sun will have figured out the reveal before the reveal.
Yeah.
Because there was a thing like this in Westworld as well, if I remember correctly, which was, I know, unrelated tangent, where in Westworld, spoiler alert, it was revealed that Bernard was an android the whole time.
Okay.
But what happens is, when they do this reveal, is they spend like 10 minutes doing it. So about 3 minutes in, if you hadn't guessed it beforehand, like I hadn't, you like, oh, he's an android. And then they spend 7 minutes like teasing you to reveal he's an android.
Oh. Okay. So,
and it's like, just when you do these reveals, be really quick about it. Don't be like, well, Bernard, the I can't remember what they call them, but the why am I trying to think of the word when I literally will not be able to? Like the machines don't know they're machines, and they do things under their programming, and they're standing in this like very brightly lit clinical cellar where the first ever machine was made.
So there's a lot of foreshadowing there.
There's a lot of foreshadowing there. And then he says, I can't remember the name of the woman, but he's like, kill this woman. And he pulls out the gun and does it, and that's when they reveal he's an android. And it's like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But then it's status quo after that. It literally doesn't use this information in season 1. As far as I remember. I watched it all at once, so in my defense.
Yeah.
I don't remember a huge amount. But Borderlands 3 does essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, as you get into the later logs of Type into Leon, you will have figured out the plot twist.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I need to find those.
So by next week, obviously, you'll have beaten the game. I believe in you.
Possibly. Yeah.
I think you can do it.
Yeah, it's possible.
If you rush the ending. Although I did say that, like, privately to you, that, like, the game seems like it's ending and it isn't.
Okay.
That's if you do side quests.
Yeah. I
mean, you'll think, oh, I'm in the fight. Like, in Heroes Past, there wasn't 3 side quests for you to do.
Yeah.
It left them all onto the post-game. This doesn't. It just gives you all of the quests. You can beat the game and have the final mission be the final mission.
Okay. I generally, like as I've been doing the areas in Borderlands 3, I do side quests until I get bored with them, which isn't too long. And then, like, go back to doing main quest stuff.
That isn't even, like, wrong. Like, I never really got bored of doing side quests in Borderlands 2. Like, there was a couple, like the go and deliver a bunch of arms.
Yeah.
That wasn't particularly fun. I mean, all of the deliver things quests aren't fun, even in Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
But generally, I was like, I'm fine doing them. It was like, go and kill this enemy and, like, melee it. It's like, okay, I'll go and do that.
Yeah.
Go to the fridge, walk for a bit, be fine.
I think some of the quests I quite liked from Borderlands 2 were like the Hammerlock ones where you were just like go and kill like a load of bully mongs. Like
Yeah, and he gets progressively angrier as the quest goes on.
Yeah,
because every name he picks gets rejected.
Yeah, like that was kind of fun. Because like you see the actual like names of the enemies changing as he's like naming them something different. Like, yeah,
there are some quests like that in Borderlands 3, but I think the main problem with the side quests, at the very least, at least from my like perspective, is that you don't often get dialogue with the NPCs as you're doing the quest. It's always sort of you go and like accept the quest, and they'll say some stuff, and you won't be given an objective.
Yeah,
and then they'll hand you something potentially. Or they won't give you the objective until their dialogue is finished. You'll go and do the objective, and then they'll start their next dialogue. Instead of them saying, I want you to go and kill some bullymongs for me, you'll go to the area, and then as you're going there, they'll talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So a huge amount of the time, as you're playing Borderlands 3, you'll go, I'm going to start this quest, and then go into the toilet and grab a drink. Because they will not be done by the time I get back.
Yeah.
But you only know that if you've done the quest before.
Yeah.
Like, the Lorelei quest for coffee, which I know you didn't like a huge amount, you finally got grating, which is, fine. But at least she talks to you as you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the main thing... The only thing that was, that was a bit grating about that was just...
The dialogue?
I mean, yeah... It was just a bit too much. As you started it off, it was fine. The idea of going to that length to get coffee is absurd. That's a fun quest, but it was just a bit. Her dialogue specifically was just a bit too much.
You think there was too much of it and it was too long?
I think it was specifically that it was. The way it came across to me was the same feeling I'd get if someone was talking about CrossFit or veganism. It's like
you want to I know those other two are really because they're moralizing when they do it. She just wanted coffee.
Yeah, it's. Well, I guess it was just that it seemed like as a character, she was not even just that the writing was making her seem like it was a big deal. It felt like as a person, she was trying to make it more of a big deal than it actually was.
That's her thing, is that she drinks a lot of coffee, and without it, she doesn't know who she is.
Yeah, it was she was trying to make a point of it when it could have been that she was just getting the shakes and she just needed coffee. That would have been fine.
I think that kind of was it, because she said earlier she'd been up for a week straight,
but she didn't really show it.
No, she wasn't super grouchy. I think Maya had a bigger outburst than her, and it was once.
Yeah,
where she was shouting at the corporations on the Echo.
Yeah. Doesn't really seem... Yeah, it didn't seem like the voice and the actions of a person who lives on coffee and hadn't had any for ages.
Okay, so we were complaining about something when we were playing together, which is Lorelei's voice.
It seemed... I mean, it did seem forced.
Hang on.
And really weird,
I want to confirm, she is categorically English.
It's really weird, though, because there are some British people who sound like it's a fake accent. It's really forced. Maybe it's also that it's just it's the stark contrast of this one British person surrounded by so many American accents.
Wait, hang on. Before this, I want to want to quickly clarify, he is categorically English. What? I had to do it because when you're looking at these things, you don't look too deeply, right? You look at their where they're born, and you don't look too deep. But apparently they're trans, maybe. So I just wanted to,
Oh, okay.
Go be respectful. God.
Yeah.
What asshole you are.
That's fine. I'm sorry. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
That's all there is. I think it should be fine if people just don't know.
It should.
It's also that it doesn't really matter to Well, okay, that's not what I mean.
The point we're making here is that it was terrible in terms of it was a really odd voice to choose and didn't really work with the character too well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So regardless, wasn't great.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, they were trying to make her out as this badass at the beginning, and the more you played the game, the more you realised that she was just sort of coffee addicted, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that was the point.
That's fine, but it didn't come across enough to me. I feel.
I just don't think that she didn't have enough to do, really.
Yeah.
There was 4 quests with her, and they were all just sort of go here, kill thing, which is fine. But she didn't say anything particularly funny.
No.
And it didn't grab me in the same way that Hammerlock and Jacobs and Aurelia did.
Yeah.
But I think that's how most joke characters are, really, or these kind of side characters.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there were any in Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 2 actually just didn't have many side characters.
No, they mainly just used the main
quest specific. They were all specific joke characters in Quest, or they were Lilith, Brick, Mordecai, and Roland.
Yeah.
Or Tina.
Yeah.
There wasn't really an in-between. But the closest you would get, I suppose, would have been the surfer dude from Scarlet. Lucas Fabusi.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
I don't even know if I remember him.
I will say my favourite voice actor, for obvious reasons, is Penn and Teller. As the two Pain and Terror, respectively.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, is this Borderlands 3 thing?
Yeah.
Pain and Terror.
Yeah. You haven't gotten to them yet.
Have I not?
It's not a spoiler. Okay. The whole gimmick of that area is Penn and Teller are playing murderous psychopaths.
That sounds really fun. Okay.
Right? It's relatively fun. I like Ice-T as Balex.
oh, that's Ice-T?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Balex is fun.
What I find a little bit interesting is
so you cut out a little bit?
Yeah, and I'm going to continue doing it because I think we're about to be cut off again.
Oh.
What I did find interesting is that, I didn't know this until now, that Lilith and Tannis are played by the same voice actor.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't...
Which is just a little bit weird.
I didn't realize.
Nope, I didn't. I guess that goes to show how good the voice actors are.
Yeah.
Except Lorelei's. I feel bad saying it now because it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. It was just... It just felt
really
a little
ill-fitting
weird
for the character.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say
no one else
really
around her
ill-fitting.
sounded like her.
Yeah, I think it was just the fact that it just sounded really weird when she's surrounded by tons of American accents.
Reese didn't sound remotely like her,
and she was. It wasn't even It was quite a definite British accent as well. It wasn't well, I don't know, actually. It
I guess it just
like Tracer.
Also played by an English actor, but very hammed up.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel hammed up.
Which is fine. I'll allow it.
You'll allow it.
I don't have much control here, do I?
No. Very little, in fact.
I will say, though, I am mad there were, like, no cameos. That were, like, from the other Vault Hunters. There were 6. You had 6 areas, and you couldn't put in one of the new Vault Hunters.
Wait, what do you mean?
So we had Maya, obviously.
Yeah.
And we had Zero.
Yeah.
Gage is coming back in the new DLC, so I'll count that.
Okay. Oh,
but you could have thrown Axton literally anywhere.
Yeah,
Salvador really... very easily could have just been with Brick, Tina, and Mordecai.
Yeah.
Right?
Just to kind of like highlight the fact of you could have just put Axton anywhere, is it took me a second to remember who he was.
Yeah, he was a really generic turret guy.
Yeah, you could have just put him as a soldier literally anywhere, and it would have fit.
You could have had him be like a kind of antagonist, because he was kind of out for himself.
Yeah. I know nothing about him.
I think people would have been like less happy with that. I'm not saying they should have done it, but there was one person who like categorically should have been in the game because of who else was in the game, which is Krieg.
Yeah.
The psycho. Because Krieg was in love with Maya. And Maya promised to go back for him.
Okay.
And after she died, can you imagine the like unending hell that Krieg could unleash on like the Calypsos? They bring him back, and as like the psychotic machine that he is, he converts some of the children of the Vault and starts a like pseudo clan war.
That would have been
with Tyrene and Troy.
That's another thing I was going to say. Actually, one thing I really quite liked in Borderlands 2 was that like there wasn't just the bandits. You had
it was just the bandits if you were on the correct side of history with Handsome Jack.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, they're just all the same bandits. Crimson
Anyone
Raiders.
Jack is a bandit. Fact.
Yeah, but you had I forget names now, but you didn't just have like one big group of enemies. You had different factions.
Yeah, there was the Firehawk. There was like all of what was it? Was it Lynchtown? Lynchwood, where you had like the Hodunks and the the other ones.
Yeah,
like
you
the
had
the Irish guys. There was Captain Scarlet's crew. They were bandits.
Was it Bloodwing Stronghold? Was that it?
Bloodwing, no, the Bloodwing was the bird.
Oh, yeah. Is it Bloodhound Strong? I don't know. I don't remember what it was called.
There's like there's the Nomads. Or what are the? I can't. It's the quest that we hate doing because it's always the one that like it's where the game, if you don't get good loot, gets hard, but you have to go and kill the 4 bosses.
Oh yeah,
like in a row, like that whole raiding area. That was different to like the other raiding area. There was the one where they put on the jumpers because Claptrap made it really cold. Every enemy in the fridge is unrelated to any other enemy.
Yeah, it just felt.
Hyperion is different, but Maliwan worked with the Raiders. Worked with the Children of the Vault. So they felt like the same faction. They just felt like advanced versions or reskinned versions, even though they weren't.
Yeah. Well, and everyone, like every bandit you fight is a like child of the Vault. It's all the same. Like all the planets you go to, you're fighting the same enemies. Pretty much. I mean, wildlife is like different on each, but that's the main enemies you're fighting.
I would like to comment on like all the planets in general. Is that it feels very Planet of Hats at the moment, which is the trope of like Tatooine is pure desert and Hoth is pure ice. When in reality, any let's try it again, habitable planet is like Earth, right? It has deserts, oceans, jungles, deciduous forests, cold deserts.
There's
more sort of like if you look at Borderlands 2, there's the Hammerlock DLC, which is all swamp. Then there's Captain Scarlet, which is all desert.
You see, I think it would have been fine if we didn't have Borderlands 2 previously, where we had like that kind of like diversity on a single planet.
Yeah, it felt weird that we were going to different planets, considering the fact that like Pandora seemed to be a more interesting planet to begin with.
Yeah, it's also weird that like when you go out onto the map, like you zoom out to like see all the different areas on the planet, and you see this like tiny section of the planet where there are like 3 or 4 areas, and like the rest of the planet, there's just nothing to go to.
It kind of sucks.
It's like, there's actually not that much here.
I guess that gives them space to do whatever they want in the DLCs. Just like,
here's some
Moxie stuff.
But they're not going to add like 3 times more areas.
No, they're not.
And even with 3 times more areas, that would feel like maybe like a 1/6 of each planet. Like in terms of like spaces taking up on the UI. I'm not saying they need to like fill up each planet, but just the way they displayed it didn't make it. It made it seem very kind of sparse.
I think that actually is like a big thing with Borderlands 3, is that, and you'll see everywhere. So like, there's more planets than ever, right? And the areas are bigger than ever.
but there are more planets. There was it wasn't a high.
You had to get above 1 planet. Congrats. I guess 2 if you're counting the pre-sequel. That's like the same.
Yeah, if you can,
because you had the moon in a different game.
If you combine the 3 previous games, still
you
not
get to 2.
Yeah.
So they had more planets. The areas were bigger than ever, and the game was longer than ever, but it felt generally empty. Like, constantly. Like, the areas were empty, the quests felt empty, the characters felt empty, the threats felt empty.
Yeah.
Because, like, Tyrene and Troy, they unified all of the bandits in the goddamn galaxy under them in 8 years.
Yeah.
Right? So, let's just say we can suspend that disbelief, because, like, I was kind of okay with it at the beginning. The further I went in, the less okay with it I was. But initially I was like, oh, okay, a bunch of bandits have unified together, they've, like, created a union. I would have found it so much funnier if the bandits just actually had a union that had like genuine benefits. They went on strike. So there was like one area in the game where you walked up and they were like, we're on strike, we're just not getting enough benefits, our pensions aren't high enough.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to the end and then like Tyrene and Troy like, fine, we'll give you pensions, and then all the bandits jump on you as you make it to the end.
Yeah.
And then you kill them all and they don't have to pay the pensions anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the game is silly a bit of the time, but I think it has space to be a bit sillier at points.
Yeah, I mean, like, the main quest doesn't have to be really silly.
Yeah, you can have a serious like main line. Like Borderlands 2, like the main story was pretty serious.
The Bloodwing joke was fantastic, and that was very silly.
Oh, that was really, really good.
It's like I'm forgetting an element here, and the whole fight. Yeah. Like, you're not thinking about it because you're fighting Bloodwing, and it's like, oh yeah, explosion, and then his head explodes, right? And
yeah.
Like, it works as like a silly joke, but there's also a very serious... Like, it emphasizes the point being made there.
Wow, an example of good storytelling in a video game.
I know, it's genuinely a shock.
It unfortunately not so common.
Because the
at least
problem
with like Borderlands.
The Borderlands plot isn't bad.
No.
It's just really unoriginal. And I think that's kind of the most insulting thing about it, is that it tried nothing new, but did everything poorly.
They took no risks and they still didn't do well.
Yeah, because, like, wow, Maya died and Ava is now taking over. And it's like, yeah, but I liked Maya more than Ava, and you didn't do anything with Maya anyway.
Yep.
Like, the change here is actually inconsequential, but you've just killed the character I liked and kept a character I don't.
Yeah.
Or, like, the Troy and Tyrene stuff of, like, oh, we unified all of the bandits. It's like, wow, you one-upped Handsome Jack. Great.
It doesn't even come across as, like, one-upping him.
Well, no, because the Handsome Jack felt like more of a threat.
Yeah, it felt like there was this giant corporation that was much more powerful than anything on Pandora coming and taking over and screwing over, like, not just you, but, like, all of the bandits in the land as well.
Yeah, like, you would have bandits
that was more interesting
Hyperion
as well. It wasn't just these two factions fighting against each other. It was a bit more complicated than that. Like, there were the Crimson Raiders, which
would have had, like, Aurelia, like, not be working with Tyrene and Troy.
Yeah, she could have just been after the vaults.
Like, from some perspective, that could have felt like, oh, that was a bit. It just felt that was a nothing plotline. Then it didn't add anything to the overall story.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
well, if you have enough,
she was a better antagonist.
Yeah, I think if you have enough of these, like, smaller conflicts going on as well, it makes it feel a bit bigger.
Yeah, I didn't ever feel really invested in any character except, like, characters I'd already been invested in.
Yeah,
since Borderlands 2.
Pretty much.
Like, I cared about Tina, Mordecai, and Brick because I like Tina, Mordecai, and Brick from Borderlands 2 and the Tiny Tina DLC.
Yeah.
But in Borderlands 1, like, and we've played it a bit, it was kind of not great.
It's very brown and very grey.
I don't want to spoil the game too much, Josh, but the final boss from Borderlands 1 is very similar to the final boss from Borderlands 2.
Is it really?
No, to Borderlands 3, sorry. Borderlands 2 is a unique boss relative to them too, to the both of them.
Okay.
But, like, yeah. It basically ripped off its own final boss.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But we will deal.
Thinking back to Borderlands 2, like, the warrior fight.
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best. But, like, because when you'd be fighting it, you'd be, like, annoyed by the time that when it goes under the lava and you can't do anything.
You can instantly kill it, though.
Instantly?
Well, yeah, because it dies and then it pops up and you shoot it once for, like, 2 damage and it will die. It just has to die in that one spot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I wasn't meaning about that. I was meaning that just that, like, if you shoot it enough, it just goes away for a bit.
Yeah.
But, like, comparing that to, like, some of the bosses in Borderlands 3, like, it's actually good.
But the thing is, when it goes away, it gives you a time to restock on ammo.
Yeah.
And to get away from, like, an environmental threat that it's causing. It causes this, like, lava surge.
It's not just standing there completely immune to what you're doing to it.
And also breathing fire on you. Yeah. Like, if it did that, I think people would complain.
It's taking a breather, and so are you. It makes sense. And then
it enables you to get your cooldown back.
Yeah, and then as soon as it starts attacking again, you can start attacking it. It feels fair.
Yeah. I don't think any of the bosses feel, like, objectively unfair.
No, but
but they often feel like, oh, I was just getting started. And it just kills your momentum of the fight.
Yeah. You're right.
Borderlands 3, it's just a game without momentum. It's so long that, like, the bits I'm excited for don't happen like an hour after I expected them to, and then I'm just sort of deflated.
Yeah.
And I go off and, like, I'll do some side quests or something to, like, gain some momentum.
That's a good point, actually. A lot of the time, when I've been playing Borderlands 3, I play it for I play like one story mission, then kind of start getting more done, or like start doing a little bit of the next one, but it's just it just cannot keep my attention. Whereas I'm sure there's it's been so long since I played like my first run of Borderlands 2, but that felt a lot more easy to kind of just that Jesus. It's been a while.
I think the thing with Borderlands 2 though is that it kept sending you to new looking areas. Like the bare minimum that it did is it changed the environment.
Yeah.
So like I honestly God, I reckon I could recall the entire plot of Borderlands 2, like, or mission by mission. I'm not going to. But like if you think from the start of the game, you start off in the snow, you proceed through, you end up on a pirate ship with bandits.
Yeah.
You then end up in a still snowy environment, but you get access to a car, you go to Sanctuary.
Well, it looks quite different. Like
and then you're ending up in like a steampunky, like, lair-looking thing.
Yeah.
And then you end up in a tundra. And then as you keep going, you end up in like highlands, some more grassy and like whatever. Yeah. And then you also end up in the fridge, which is like a big icy cave system. Like, there's a lot of ice in Borderlands. So
the areas are like really memorable. Like so many of the areas, like
Iridium Blight.
I mean,
do you not remember it?
Less so Iridium Blight.
I really like Iridium Blight.
It didn't really have much going for it. Like, there wasn't much there.
It was an in-betweeny area, but like even as an in-betweeny area, it looked distinctly different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely looked distinct.
Where do you enter Iridium Blight from? I think it's by opportunity, right?
Maybe?
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
you enter
right.
Iridium Blight, and then you go into Bonesworth Cauldron. What is it? Bonesworth Canyon, Bonesworth Cauldron? You do all that stuff, then you're in a desert for a bit. And then you end up in Heroes Pass, which is like a big Hyperion facility.
Yeah. Yeah. Each area does feel different.
But it's each area within like a story section feels a little bit different.
Yeah.
Not as drastic, but when you do Promethea, like the start, it's a bit grassy. Then you're in the city, and then you're in the city. Like the outskirts are a bit dirt in Promethea. Like the outskirts are like sewers, but once you're in like the Metroplex, it's just city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's city all the way through, and then you go to Atlas HQ, and it's almost city, but not quite. It's like a posh building.
It also feels weird as like assessing, because it's like, I guess this is meant to seem like a city that, like, you know, there are a load of regular people just living and going about their days before the Children of the Vault came.
It does not feel like that.
It doesn't. It feels like it's meant to feel like that, but like that's not.
Well, it suffers from this issue because like the whole point of Promethea is that like there was a vault there. Yeah. And then people came looking for vaults and they couldn't find any, so all the weapon manufacturers pulled out. There was no money to be made, so there was no money going to the city. So the city sort of fell into disrepair and ruin. But then it's also meant to feel like, I mean, Lorelei was a coffee shop worker. She was a barista.
Yeah.
But also she turned into a gun-toting savage.
Yeah.
I just don't buy that connection. On Pandora, I can absolutely buy that everyone there is a gun-toting savage.
Yeah.
I can sort of...
It definitely looks like it.
Eden 6 is more normal than Promethea, and Eden 6 is a swamp jungle fueled by a gun manufacturer.
The characters fit there.
Yeah, they do.
They don't on Promethea. Yeah.
I think I said to you before Borderlands 3 came out, like on the announcement, that like the futuristic city was the one that worried me.
Yeah, I see. I had a different opinion because it was so different from like anything that was like in Borderlands 2. I was kind of just excited for them to have like be going in like a different direction with how it looked, but yeah, it didn't really turn out to be that great.
That said, I think this is where my opinion is going to differ from yours. Is I enjoyed Promethea more than I enjoyed any of Pandora.
In Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
because Pandora's quite a small section, it's quite basic.
Pandora
even
was
when you go back to Pandora,
slow.
It's still slow when you go back to it. I don't know what the game design. I can't pinpoint what it is that's causing this feeling, but it feels wrong.
Yeah,
like it feels like Borderlands 2 in a way, but not in a way that like speaks to me. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't mesh.
Yeah, I don't think. One thing that I've been feeling with like a lot of the areas in Borderlands 3 is that they feel really big, but not in a good way.
Oh god, you're gonna love the like Carnivora.
Is it huge?
Oh, it's massive, but like I left most of it unexplored.
It's like with like starting off from Pandora, like it didn't feel like the same Pandora, because you have something like 3 Horns Divide or something in Borderlands 1, and if I remember rightly, it like is that near Frostbound Canyon? Is that like in the like an area next to it?
No, but which area near Frostbound Canyon?
3 Horns Divide. I think.
The one where
you farm the Infinity Pistol, that area.
Yeah.
Okay, so that area, is kind of. I guess it's not too big, but it's like there's a lot of driving around.
I would say it's probably like the third biggest area in the game.
Yeah, but you're
fourth, because you've got the Pirate Sands, the Highlands.
Yeah. But most of that area is you drive to like specific locations within there.
Yep.
And it doesn't take too long to like get around it. But and once you're in those areas, like they're pretty self-contained.
Dense. Yeah.
But in Borderlands,
you feel like you walk into an area and like you're going to be there for 3 hours.
Yeah, but on Eden 6,
if I want, I can stop now. Eden 6 is madness.
It was the mission where you're trying to find the traitor. That with I think it's a slate mission. Have you done this?
I have. I've done the missions. I can't remember it though. I know the one. I remember. Yeah, the clay mission where you have to go and like.
Oh, is it clay? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to find the traitor, and have you finished it?
Yeah.
And you find out it's the guy that they thought was dead.
Yeah.
Right. I hate that mission.
That was so much walking.
You walk from one place to another, and then like one guy sends you to 3 different places.
Yeah.
And then you get to go to the other place, and it's like this quest is not interesting enough. The best part of that quest is when that woman turns into a Goliath.
Yeah.
Right? That's the punchline of the quest and should have ended there.
Yep. Yeah. There was so much walking in that, though. It was tiring doing that quest. Which is a real shame. If that area was just a bit more self-contained, it's like you maybe having, loop back, maybe having the different routes loop back to a central area rather than just continue right to the end and then you have to walk all the way back.
It's like Lilith and the Drop Pod. I think that objective set is the biggest problem with Borderlands 3. Like, well, not the biggest, but it summarizes the problem aptly.
Yeah.
Where it's you teleport to Sanctuary, walk to Lilith, now walk to the drop pod. And what ends up happening is, spoiler alert, I guess, if you're like super careful about it, but when you can learn Iridian writing, there are 6 quests that you get. They're like spread across the entire like map, and they send you to these proving grounds, which are essentially just like arenas for you to run later on to farm gear.
Yeah,
but it gives them to you as like an Iridian quest.
Okay.
They have like no plot importance in the slightest. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But what happens is you'll get one of those quests, and what you have to do is you have to teleport to Sanctuary, walk to the front of the ship, then fly to the one of the 6 locations, then walk down to the drop pod, do the area, and then repeat 6 times.
I was gonna say, like, going down to the drop pod isn't so bad because you only have to do it once per planet. But
I don't get why I have to be on it though, because if they're just sending their fast travel location down, why can't they be like, you teleport to the location, you see it shoot out in front of you as you arrive, and then you can just fast travel straight there? Why do I need to do this whole like weird walk down to the drop pod so that you can like have a? I don't get it.
No, it's
one of those baffling design decisions that's like, this could have been easier. It's not like you needed to pad for time here. Like, you're not filling your essay with fluff. The game is about 36 hours long if you like are quick.
Yeah.
You do not need to have these extra, like, here, spend an hour across a playthrough running back and forth between these locations.
Yeah. Yeah. It does really feel unnecessary.
If it
was only once per planet, I would have been fine with it. Like, it's not
easily
too bad.
Once per planet to go down to the drop pod, but there's like 12 planets if you count these proving grounds.
Oh yeah,
and you do 6 of them in a row if you're like me.
That's annoying. It should just be a new fast travel point. Like in Borderlands 2, where like you just get new areas added that you can go to for like all of that extra content.
Yeah, it's like nice, I guess. Yeah. To be like, there's only one time when you can't fast travel to a location.
Yeah.
That has a fast travel location in it, and that's Sanctuary during one of the worst Borderlands 2 missions. It's fun up until that last bit. Don't you dare say otherwise.
Up until the last bit.
Yeah, but you have to defend the town from the onslaught of drones for like 15 minutes so that you can get a fast travel back to Sanctuary.
You're right. That
up until then, it's fine.
I remember dying there quite a lot.
It's really hard as well. It's a hard, long, tedious bit.
Yeah.
Which on Ultimate Vault Hunter, you just want to die.
It did feel kind of cool, like how you just you lose that one place of like sanctuary.
No, yeah, it's a good plot point. It's a bad mission.
Yeah,
which is the thing that drove me nuts. I do actually have another complaint about Borderlands 3 that I think is valid, which is increasing the level cap in increments.
Yeah.
And it's not for the reason you might think.
What do you... So you don't like the fact that it...
Yes.
That they're doing that?
The final level cap originally was 50.
Yeah.
They increased it to 53 whenever. I don't know. I just picked the game up recently. And they're soon going to increase it to 57.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably. Speculation, prediction, whatever. My issue with that is that you play through True Vault Hunter once, so you can get the unique legendaries that drop from quests.
Yeah.
Like the Amazing Grace, which is like one of my favourite items in one of the best quests. And yes, I did beat all of her records. You'll see it when you get to it. You'll call me heartless if you want. People on the Reddit did.
Oh, really?
Well, they call people like me who beat all the records heartless.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. The problem is, that drops at level 53 if you play it through at level 53, right?
Okay.
Level cap increased to 57, now what? Either play through the game again.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Or put up with a level 53 gun.
I think like playing Borderlands 2 when we did. Or no, actually no, because they added True Vault Hunter when they increased the level cap, didn't they?
No, I think it was always that way because you would beat the game at level 34, roughly.
Really? Or Ultimate Vault Hunter, I mean.
Yeah, Ultimate Vault Hunter was added when they increased the level cap. I think it was part of the Ultimate Vault Hunter pack.
Yeah.
The problem with that still is that they increased the level cap 8 levels further from there and then did OPs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
Really insulting because now you have to play through the game on OP10 to get like the sand gun.
Yeah. But like increasing the level cap quite a bit and adding like a new
mode.
A new mode, a new harder mode. That felt like a nice way of doing it.
I think it's also okay if you're still leveling up during the process.
Well, it made sense because you're like, it's a harder mode, so you kind of need those skill points to be able to like compete there.
I mean, Ultimate Vault Hunter was a completely unbalanced mess. I don't think it was a good mode. It's still where I spend most of my time on playing, but it is an absolute mess.
It was very challenging at points.
I disagree. I think it was difficult. We had this argument like episode 4 or 5 about the difference between challenging and hard. There was no mechanical difficulty in Borderlands. Ultimate Vault Hunter. It was just you got shot and die.
Yeah.
You didn't really have much control over on like how well you did, really. It was just sort of how broken was your build and how fast did you instantly kill enemies.
Yeah. There is part of me that liked that, though.
Part of me likes that, I'm really strong, I can one-shot you guys, you can one-shot me. The other part of me is like, I can't solo raid bosses without some, like, cheese tactic, because they're all absurd.
It's...
Because raid bosses are scaled for 4 people, but realistically, you never have 4 people doing Terramorphous, and he's one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
And the hardest
I
one
still
is
feel like that's kind of...
Stalker.
Part of the fun.
It is part of the fun. Because you end up in the situation where you just sit behind Pride Rock, and then you shoot.
Well, because it's like you're in... it's like they've gone, okay, well, this is just a stupid mode. Like, you've got to just do anything to be able to survive in this, I guess.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. I don't think there are many raid bosses that are very doable for like normal players on Ultimate Vault Hunter.
Yeah.
I would say that we are in like the unique subset of like top 10% people who top 10% people who did OP10, basically.
Yeah.
Like one character to OP10.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine many people like actually.
I mean, it took us years after we hit level 72 to do
it. I mean,
we only did it when we hit level 80.
Yeah.
Mainly because you could only get to 8 originally, and they upped it by 2 for the final DLC.
Yeah.
Which I did like that they added a free DLC to
that was cool.
Borderlands 2, just for like a bit of hype for Borderlands 3. Sucks I didn't play Borderlands 3 for 6 months after it came out. But it was fun.
Yeah. Wasn't the best DLC in the game, but it was nice.
No, but I mean, it's hard to, like, they had some killer DLCs.
Yeah.
I know Captain Scarlet's not super popular, but I really like Captain Scarlet. I don't like the Torg DLC that much. At all, in fact. I think it's just lots of bandits.
Yeah, that's true. It pretty much was. I mean, I think that was fine, though.
It was fine for what it was, but, like, compared to Tiny Tina, Pirates, and...
Yeah.
Hammerlock, I think it didn't do... I mean, Hammerlock wasn't great either. I think, like, on a rating scale, it's, like... It's Tiny Tina by, like, a long way. Then Captain Scarlet, then Hammerlock, then Torg.
I think the Headhunters were also pretty good.
I don't count the Headhunters as DLC exactly. I've only done, like, 3 of them. I should do more of them, really.
So they were only a single area, weren't they?
An hour or two, like... They cost, like, 20p or something.
Yeah. Like you had
get them on sale. They
were themed as well. Like you had the Halloween.
Yeah, it was Christmas, Halloween.
Yeah. That was
St. Patrick's Day. The Goliath wedding was like very fun. For whatever. It was terrible, really, because it was a lot of like. I think the problem with the Headhunters is that their replayability doesn't really work because the big thing with them is they're all built around these like singular jokes. Like it's Christmas, it's Halloween. Well, they don't have like the longevity in the same way that like the pirates or fantasy do as generic like jumping off points for satire and jokes. I think that's why Torg doesn't appeal to me in the same, and Hamlet doesn't appeal to me in the same way, is that they basically take this concept of like, we're going to go monster hunting and then don't do it, or you're going to be like an arena fighter and then you only fight in the 3 arenas.
Yeah, I get that. I think with the Headhunters though, they're pretty quick. They're just kind of small and fun, and then at the end, like, even though you've done it like before and you're on like a new mode, you can just like farm the boss. Like that's pretty much it. And I don't
think the bosses even dropped that many good things. It was only the snowman that did, right?
Oh really? I mean, that was the main one I was thinking of.
I never really got into it. I've done like 1 or 2. I think I started the Christmas one and I finished the Valentine's Day one.
Okay.
But like generally, the thing is, there are so many like quests in Borderlands 2. That unless you're going for a very specific item from a quest, you generally don't bother.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to farm items, you either farm the boss that the item is associated with, which the Headhunters did have some items in them that were associated with bosses, but none of them were for me because I played Salvador a lot.
Yeah.
In the end game, I think 0 is probably more fun.
Yeah.
Because going invisible is probably just more fun.
I never really played 0 much. I don't think I ever got to like a point where it was particularly fun.
I think the problem with it is that you needed a lot of late-on skills to make it good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean the invisibility. I mean like because you couldn't change active then. You would just use it to like get into a good ball position, and then you would like shoot through a bunch of enemies with a like suction grenade, and everyone would explode, and that would be fun. I don't think 0 was great at just like mob clearing in the same way that like Axton and Maya and Salvador were.
I think that's what was more fun to me. It was just being able to like either with Salvador or Maya, just activate your ability and then just start destroying everything for a bit.
You say for a bit. If you were playing Salvador without your ability up, you did it wrong.
Yeah, you should always beat your
It never goes down. You're always gunzerking. Maya, you have like a 1 burst thing, but you get it back super fast, and the res was absurd.
Yeah, that was absurd.
The fact you could do it from across map as well. It didn't really have a range on it, so that if you were in the Digistruct peak, you would still be able to get your friends up, even if you like died and went out.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the degeneracy of 4 Mayas just standing on each other, just like, oh, one went down, boom, up.
Oh my god, that would have been that would be great.
You would have lacked a lot of damage, I guess, but also like you get 1 up and you use the slag from the other ones to like go ham on the boss.
Maya had a lot. I think it was like on the 3rd tree. There was like a lot to do with damage. It's like as soon as you activate your ability, I think also when you take damage, like you're just dealing a load of elemental damage to everything around you. I remember it doing quite a lot.
It just occurred to me, Josh.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the episode.
It's like 20 minutes past. Jeez.
Well, it's not, because we had a big technical difficulties in the middle, so that's probably a chunk of that time.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the first episode of the Lockdown podcast.
Yeah. So we'll update you on
4isConneted.
on the state of things next time.
It will be exactly the same.
I don't know. The world's going to go to shit, Loss. The world's going to go to shit.